Yeah, that's really the heart of what spirituality for badasses is about being real with yourself and being real with others. And I talk in the beginning, that's one of the first things I talk about is honesty.
Hmm.
Sure, we all have little lies that we spew about to others, but if you're doing that with yourself, then you aren't going to make any headway in with spirituality
Yeah,
if you're lying to yourself.
yeah.
And that's where it begins, is right there.
Is there some tools in the book that people work through, or is
Yeah.
it a process? Talk about it, some of the tools in the book and what people might experience.
Sure. So the first thing I want to say to individuals listening or watching is that these tools they're not magical and mysterious. You can go to any college or university or hospital in America and take a mindfulness course, an 8-week mindfulness course. You can, which is what the tool is. And what is a mindfulness course? What is it to practice mindfulness? What is mindfulness meditation? And it's not as Eastern or philosophical or this as you'd think. Most of it involves simply breathing and noticing the body and accepting and saying yes to all these parts of us that come up. So a small example of this, there's something called the stop method that I sort of at this point just happens automatically. Stop, 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 take a pause, take a breath, T, observe, O, observe your body, observe your environment, and then proceed. So the stop method. Breathe, notice my whole body, notice the environment, notice the room. And what's beautiful about this method, and there's a wide variety of this method that are teeny tiny like that one, and that can go to all the way to where you spend a half an hour breathing and noticing your body part by part. What's beautiful about this thing is that throughout the day, if you have a instead of reacting, if you have that as a little tool, you can respond. So if you have a moment of stress, you have dealing with somebody you don't like, someone pisses you off, something happens, instead of just reacting and going off about it, you stop
Hmm.
and you take a little pause, take a little break. And the more that you can, this is part of the process too of mindfulness. And what that does in long term is it makes you more aware. And so we began this conversation by talking about how I was able to not be depressed, no longer have anxiety attacks, no longer suffer this sense of estrangement, this sense of not being in the right planet, because I became and noticed this internal part of myself, which was awareness. I became more aware. So little exercises like the stop method and larger exercises like full on 20-minute body scans where you lie down and close your eyes are those techniques, are those methods. It's like it's just a muscle at the gym. The more you do it, the more one uncovers this awareness part. Trick is that, see, awareness for most people is buried way in the back.
Yeah.
Mind out here, hot and bothered. Another layer down, you got all of our emotions and then our body. Our body is right next to awareness. So we can notice our bodies and be in our bodies and whatever it takes to do that, be a little kind to your body. Don't eat shit. Exercise, get outside, be in nature. The more you can notice body and breathe into your body, the more you're going to notice awareness. That's a little bit of the techniques. There's a ton of them in the book, basically, because I take you on all these adventures. We go to, as we've already said, we go to Lucky's two-stroke biker bar, and we go to a zip line that's over a quarry and a canyon. We go to the beach and go swimming, and there are all of these adventures where I invite you and we participate together in becoming more mindful in both good circumstances and bad circumstances.
I love when there's tools available for people, especially when I look at the last couple of years of our lives going through this pandemic, how I've
Yeah.
used my time and how I've encouraged others to use their time. We might be stuck at home, lack of work, et cetera, whatever your story is, but it's tools like this that allow you to come out ahead in situations like what we're undergoing as a nation or as a world. Utilize this time to improve yourself and find yourself and
Yeah.
become aware. Become that spiritual badass.
Yeah.
This is a great time to heal and be better coming out of this thing than when you went into it.
It, it, everyone's, well, you've probably heard of Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he said that I really, really like, that I actually just read about it maybe a week or two ago, is that this place that we're here in this earth, things are meant to go wrong.
Yeah.
Things are meant to go wrong. And you can take that with a nihilistic edge, like, oh, it's all going wrong all the time and this place is fucked. Or it can be, yeah, this place is a learning place. Things are meant to go wrong, just like COVID-19, so that we can evolve, so that we can wake up, so that we can have sometimes it takes a little, don't we all know this? Change usually comes about when we get kicked in the ass.
Yeah.
And so here we are. The whole planet has now been collectively is still being kicked in the ass by this COVID-19 thing. And I think unconsciously, consciously, like it or not, take it or not, love it or not, hate it, blah, 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 we're all going to jump up a little bit. The reset button has been pushed. And the inevitable consequence of that is that we will grow a little bit, we'll evolve a little bit. That's how I view it at any rate.
I love that. And I think that we would all be better for taking that approach to things because life is not easy. And it's these struggles and how we come out of these struggles make us better people, better parents, better educators, better friends, better husbands and wives. And how you approach them with your mindfulness, if you will, knowing that you could come out better. I just love that you said that because I think we all need reminding that this will pass and we'll have learned something.
But when you kind of like feel in your bones and finally get it as a soul that yeah, life is there's a lot of suffering in life. When you kind of get it that there's a broken quality, not a perfect quality, not a this is some place that's shiny and happy and perfect all the time. But when you really get it in your bones that this is sort of a conditional, slightly broken place, what really the cool part of what happens with that is that if you accept that, if you say yes to it, if you say yes to that, then guess what happens? It becomes a little less broken. It becomes the struggle against it, instead of fighting the current, fighting, oh my God, I'm going to drown. You just relax in the current and see that you have got no control over the current. It just becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot easier to say yes to it and to quit fighting it. And I think we're both in tune to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just listening to you and I'm thinking about our conversation, and my hope is that if we've got listeners that have issues with depression or anxiety, or they're looking around just feeling overwhelmed by what's happening in the world or in their own little world, whatever the effects are there, that they hear this message and they realize, hey, this is how life works sometimes. But if you approach it the right way with mindfulness, you take the tools that are available to you, like this book or the advice that you've given on the show already, that you can come out of this thing not only ahead, but better for it and really thrive, as the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, it's hokey, but I mean, all that's being offered here is lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah.
That's all. How do you do that? And damn, it's not easy. I'm not saying that this shit is easy. It's not. When you're depressed and suffering and down, And, it's hard to get out of bed some days. It really, really is. So my message to those individuals is I feel you. I was there, and yeah, it does suck. And I I would say hopefully this hearing a podcast like this gives you a little bright something, gives you a little bit more that allows tomorrow to be more than just stuck in bed, that allows, gives you some hope that there is possibility out there to do things. And then, of course, then also the practical side of me says one needs to say to those people, yeah, you need to talk to somebody, get some help.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
because not everyone's deepest, darkest problems or secrets or suffering or depression can be solved by a book or a podcast. That is for sure.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I think I said it already, but people inherently want to help others. So there's nothing wrong if you're in that state to reach out, ask for help, and get the tools that you need to be better. I'm looking forward to reading the books. Like I said, I loved what I read online.
Awesome.
Especially how it's no friend. This is not chicken soup for the soul. This is a double shot of LSD laced jalapeno infused Patron tequila.
I do like my tequila.
Well, I spent 20 years in the tequila industry. I owned a
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I owned a tequila company. So definitely, your message resonated.
Oh well, I want some of your brand. I'll send you a signed copy of the book, and you send me a signed copy of your tequila.
I think we can work something out there. So, look, where can they find your book? What's your website, and all those other fun things?
Sure. For coaching, for one-on-one sessions, for courses, spiritualityforbadasses.com. For the book, just go to Amazon and search spiritualityforbadasses.com. It'll pop right up.
I love it. Jeff, thanks for taking the time today to be on the show, sharing your story, talking about the book, and really, I think most importantly, your message for people to get into their own spirituality and move past maybe they're in a rut or maybe they just want to be a little bit better. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jim, for having me. It's awesome hanging out with you, sir.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.
This episode of The Answer is Yes brought to you by Baja Bound Insurance Services. Driving to Mexico? You can buy and print out your Mexican auto insurance policy online in minutes with their easy-to-use website. They also have great travel information to help you plan your trip south of the border. Visit bajabound.com